For me, I think a non-negotiable is being relationship-led and working with integrity when speaking to any candidate about a process or even just updating with them. You know, if we're giving them a buzz about one opportunity, it might not be right there and then, but it could well be right for another role.
And I was going to say transparency as well. I think not always trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. If someone's not right for a role, we won't just pay your lip service and say, you could be, you know, if it's not right, it's not right. And that links to the long-term approach as well.
Yeah.
I think that also fits in with the aftercare piece as well. If you've had a candidate in process, there's nothing worse than not hearing back or not having feedback. So always making sure that you're giving them constructive criticism on how they were to help them in the next stage of the process, and that will therefore help them in the long term.
I was going to say, I did a LinkedIn poll the other day, and the main cause for disliking recruiters, was the communication piece and feedback by far.
Yeah. And even if you don't have any news, just like updating them to let them know that you've got no news, because being ghosted by a recruiter is honestly one of the worst things.
As a rule of thumb, any candidates we have in process, if they reach out to us with any concerns, questions or whatnot, something we all do is to go back to them the same day and I'll question.
I think in summary then, we can all agree, and everyone at Signature, that the key things for us is taking a relationship-led approach and working to our values and to our principles, being transparent and having that communication with candidates and treating them as people, not just candidates.
When speaking with candidates, I think it's really important to understand what their long-term career goals are. Where do they see themselves in 5 years? I kind of see it as like 3 different people operate within a business. Some who want to really progress really quickly, some who are quite happy with a linear progression, and some who are quite happy to stay within the 9 to 5 and not think about work outside of work. So understanding where they would fit into the business, whether they're going to be a culture add or a culture fit, and really understanding what they want to get out of their next role. If they see themselves stepping up, taking a parity move, you know, it's good to understand what they see themselves doing.
Yeah, I think understanding people's motivations when we first speak to them is super important as well, because like you say, career progression for some people, salary for some, location, hybrid working and general lifestyle preferences. Understanding those first then enables us to make sure that we're finding the right opportunities for the right people and building that trust as well, rather than just trying to make things work.
But also, just to add on, is the timings, because you can bring a candidate with their dream role, but they're in the process of buying a house, or they want a family in the next 6 months, and you know they need a good maternity policy. Being transparent about them things and understanding if the timing is right, because again, we're trying to build trust and getting them candidates to understand that we're not just here for some quick cash or you know, something like that. Like we're building our network and we want to be reputable and find you the role that's best and right for you next. And if timing's not on board, timing's not on board.
I think the main reason for all of us is to change the way people feel about recruitment. I think
100%.
It's an assumption a lot of the time that recruiters just deal with active candidates when they're looking for a job and find them the next role that works for them. But actually keep in touch with people who aren't actively looking allows us to tap into the passive market as well. I always say everyone's always going to be open to that next right opportunity, but not everyone's active, not everyone's applying for jobs on LinkedIn, on different platforms, because they're quite happy and settled in role. But with these longer term relationships, it allows us to know what the right thing looks like for people for whenever the right time comes.
Yeah, and I think my market's a good example of that. I mean, everybody's is, but especially the North and the Northwest, it's small, it's niche. As you two both know, majority of the people I have really good relationships with. I speak to a lot of them like my friends. I've built really good relationships with them, but that is purely from a point of, I want to know their career goals, their motivations, what it needs to look like for a good move for them, and ultimately for them to trust me that what I'm ringing them with, as and when opportunities crop up, is exactly what they're looking for. But yeah, I love speaking to my market all the time.
I know. It's really good to have that trust built and not even just thinking about short term, whether you're going to call them in a year's time and have the right opportunity, but also you never know, 5 to 7 years down the line, they might be a hiring manager looking for the right person and you already have that relationship built with them. And therefore they might come to you and say, look, I've had a really great relationship with you, recruitment side already, so could you help me? And you've already got that trust put in place, it
Yeah.
ends up working out really well.
Less transactional, more relationship building.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What we've already spoken about summarises everything. Sorry. Just kicked in. I think making sure a role is genuinely right for somebody really is just about the culture fit, the career goals and motivations all align, going into detail about the nitty gritty.
With that, you really recognise when it's okay to say no to a candidate.
Yeah.
It might be that this is something that they've really wanted to put themselves forward for, but you understand already, you've built that relationship, you know what their motivations are, and you know that this might not be the right move for them.
That can be hard as well, especially if people are out of work or desperately looking for a new role because they don't like where they work. Like, they'll tell you they're right, but actually having those difficult conversations sometimes, pay off in the long term as well for them.
I think first and foremost, feeling supported. You are the point of contact for all things about that business, about that job, about everything really. It might be that they've got a question to ask you like 5 minutes before their interview that they've forgotten to ask you when you interviewed them, and you just have to be there and be ready to give them all the information, be transparent.
I guess you could say respected as well is how I like people to feel. I think the misconception a lot of the time is that with recruitment, it can almost feel it's all for the recruiter's gain and they don't genuinely care about the people they're dealing with. So I think that mutual respect and making the candidates feel really understood, I think it goes a really long way.
Yeah, I think to take more of an informal approach, I am probably the second Emily in the office. I mean, nobody gets excited as much as her, but I am so excited and I want you to feel that excitement. Obviously, when they get the job, because it's so exciting. They've got this mega opportunity that they're about to start. I want you to feel your whole world's changed. Yeah, start screaming, start laughing, start shouting, because it's so exciting. And yeah, I'm just so buzzing for them, and it's the best part of the job by far. But I think on the other side of the fence, I'm also very caring, compassionate and understanding that when it hasn't gone the way that we expected for the other candidates who might not have got the role, I want them to feel like that I fully understand, I'm so empathetic of their situation, and that I'm doing everything I can to get them the next role, behind the scenes, what they might not see. But yeah, I truly want them to feel like that is what's going on.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time when people fall maybe at the final hurdle, the amount of time that's gone into prepping for interview, doing tasks, they might be in a job anyway that, is not your usual 9 till 5. So I think the extra stuff, like say we do behind the scenes, makes people feel supported, I guess, in difficult times.
Yeah, I think that making sure that even if they haven't got the role, it's still a gain, really pushing for feedback from the client, and feeding that back to the candidate is really important, because in short, we are looking to build trust, create opportunities and help people leave their legacy.